Hello, welcome to this episode of Tools for Mastering Mathematics. This particular video is going to talk about learning and mastering mathematical principles. This is the second video in the series. It also gives teachers some ideas that can be used to inspire students as they proceed in their education. One of the things our students need today is math coaches. We need students to be coached and inspired to go to greater heights. Why am I saying this? What students fundamentally need in academics today, fundamentally, is not information. They need inspiration and vision. They can get information from the library as well as Google and so on and so forth. Once they are inspired and they are hardworking, the technology and the teachers, please notice the teachers are important. We need teachers and coaches to come alongside them. The teachers available will help them excel in whatever they choose to do. Thank you, teachers, for what you do. I just want to say, with the technology we have and the teachers and the coaches, we can inspire students like never before. I want to encourage us to recognize that this is not the 1500s where we have people like René Descartes who used to go and tutor the Queen of Sweden, or we have the situation in the 1600s where you might only have one copy of a book and that was it. You didn't have anybody else around you who had extra copies necessarily. Those were very difficult times. We live in a day and age, my friends, where I can pull up almost any algebra textbook and either buy it or get a free version if it's available legally. That's important. If it's available from the publisher. So this is a day and age we live in with so much information, with videos of professors from all over the world on the internet. And yet, we have students who don't like algebra. We have students who don't like certain parts of mathematics. That troubles me. That tells me that one of the things I need to do, and I need to encourage others to do, is to grow my students in inspiration, that they are inspired to want to learn. And someone might say, how practical is that? Well, here's the key. If I promote a person to the next level of math and they don't have the skills that they need from the past, they're going to be frustrated. And that's why we need to teach our students study skills so they can excel beyond normal. These are just ideas I'm sharing with you, but I've also had a chance to use them with my students over the past 10 years. So we need to remember that the coaching and the teaching available to the students, coupled with the technology, can take them to greater heights. One of the things that our students need, as I said, is math coaches. And I'm putting a word out again that if we have students who are in districts that don't have enough funding and don't have enough tutoring resources, then let's step up and let us get volunteers to step in and do Zoom math tutoring sessions. So if you want to help tutor kids in districts where they don't have enough funding, please send me an email so I put you in contact with those who are in need of tutoring. And if you have students who are in need of tutoring and don't have the funds, let us know so we can connect people and give them the tools to help inspire students. Sometimes students think that they're incapable and that math is just so hard. In this video, again, I want to show how math can be used as a tool to help inspire students to excellence in academics and beyond. Math, my friends, is a fascinating subject. It's beautiful, I know, just as many other subjects. However, many students do not know what math is and how they're supposed to excel in it. So they conclude that there's nothing fascinating about mathematics. Many people never get to see what math really is and why they should appreciate it. People appreciate other subjects, for example, but then they either despise or they give up on trying to master mathematics. And what do I mean by master mathematics? See, math has pattern recognition built in. When you do a topic in mathematics, there's a concept in question and there's a pattern to be recognized. And that's not all math is, by the way, but I'm saying that's a huge part of what we see. So when you see that this number and this number interact a certain way, you know what to do. If I say 2 squared, you know it's 2 times 2. If I say 3 squared, you know it's 3 times 3. When I say 4 squared, you automatically go, it's 4 times 4. You've seen a certain pattern. See, the stronger your pattern recognition skills, the better you'll do in many aspects of mathematics. But the moment you also realize that math is about pattern recognition, it would help you go into it not thinking of it as a guessing game. See, people look at math sometimes and they think it's just a guessing game. I've watched people use certain principles. One of them is binomial multiplication, and they're multiplying these sets of values. And sometimes they say, well, what do I do this time? Do I just do it this way or do I do it that way? And they don't realize, no, you do the same thing you did the last time. It's the same principle. Pattern recognition is key in mathematics. So the strategy for today, well, several strategies we talked about. Number one, we need students to be inspired and get excited. Number two, we need students to see that math deals with patterns and they should not treat it as a guessing game or a game where you're just guessing. So my goal is to show us how to better understand mathematics and how that understanding can help students appreciate it more. If they appreciate mathematics, they are more likely to seek ways to master it. When you appreciate something, even if it's difficult, sometimes you give your best. You give more than just the bare minimum because you want to get better at it. I agree that people can master mathematics without appreciating it, but this does not always happen. I want people to appreciate it and I want them to master it. So we have two things that are covered. So we're going to discuss more about what mathematics is. I'll just give you the headlines. And in the next session, we'll talk about some of these in detail. Math is like a sport or a game that has rules. You follow the rules, you do well. If you don't follow the rules, you might get in trouble. Now, here's the beauty of math. There are times where there's different approaches to get the rule done, but ultimately we have to know that there is an answer in mathematics. We don't want bridges built by principles that are simply based on emotions or feelings. We want bridges built on numbers that work. So that's number one. Math has rules. Number two, math is like riding a bicycle. Even if you leave the concept for a long time, as long as you mastered it the first time, a lot of the time it will come back pretty quickly. So when I learned to ride a bicycle in 1999, I wasn't riding my bicycle all the time because I went to boarding school for 6 years. So most of the time I didn't have access to my bicycle, but whenever I saw the bicycle again, I would ride and I would be just fine. Number three, math is like building a house. You need a solid foundation before you build the next level. Number four, math is like a tool which can actually, some math topics are like tools that are used to derive other tools. And math, believe it or not, has principles like an art principle. Here's what I mean. There is some creativity. I'll give you a practical example. When you're solving in trigonometry a 45, 45, 90 triangle and they ask you to find the missing length, there are multiple ways to address that particular question. You can use the Pythagorean theorem or Pythagoras theorem, or you can actually use principles of trigonometric ratios. So notice that there's two different ways to address finding a missing length, but ultimately there is an answer, and both of those ways will give you the right answer. Thank you for taking time to watch today's strategies for mastering mathematics. I hope you're encouraged, and I hope that we can encourage more students to excel in mathematics, and by doing so, excel beyond mathematics into other subjects. Have a wonderful day.